It's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll. Today is the 29th of April and I think I'm going to do my little strawberry pot today maybe and fill it up. And I wanted to show you that we did finish cleaning up. Of course I had this side already cleaned out for you. But this side is now also cleaned out. The hostas were already looking good, and now with all that old dead stuff away from around them, they look even better still. I need to set this little decor piece up and put some glue on it so it'll stay, because oh my goodness, we have not had our share of the rains, but we have definitely had more than our share of the winds. The last little spot where I cleaned, so we've got it pretty much all cleaned out. I'm sure I'll find some as I go, but it won't be something I can't just do as I go and clean it up as I put something new in the pots, replant for the season. Snowball bush is all bright white and pretty this morning. This has certainly been April, and I've had some April Fool's things happening for me because, you know, I was told that I had signs of a heart attack, and so I went to see a heart specialist, and he said, no, I don't think so. Everything looks good, but we'll do a stress test. So I did that, and it came back with abnormalities. So now I'm going to have a angioplasty. So I will do that in May, early part of May, so that will be next on my agenda there. So I'm just going to keep going, and hopefully everything will be fine. Well, maybe I should say I hope I'm going to just keep on going. So that's the way that should be. But I do. There's so much to do. You know, if you garden at all, how busy spring is. I've got to get so many things planted, and hopefully I'll get a good start on that, or maybe not a good start, but a little smart start on it today. My husband jumped in full gear yesterday, and he trimmed this. It had died, but he trimmed the dead parts off, which left very little of it, but still, isn't it beautiful? This is what I mean by it just seems like everyone should have one when you see these beautiful golden chains on this golden chain tree. He not only trimmed that for me, but he also trimmed the forsythia bushes so that we would have them trimmed just right after their bloom, so they can go ahead and put new bloom on for next year. And he trimmed my flowering quincy and took all that off, all the debris off for me. So got a really good start, and the garden is just so getting ready for just to shine for this whole year. And I am again hoping for rain. I'm certainly hoping we get some. We have some chances the next 3 or 4 days, so hopefully we will get some of those rains. My husband also took a picture for me inside our little cardinal's nest this morning. But spring is just blooming out all over, and the garden, even though it's in need of rain, is looking great. So there we go. I was wondering what color I wanted to put in them, and I saw these red star Impatience, and I love this color. It just really shines with that little white star in the center of a dark pink, or what they're calling red. So I'm anxious to see it. I've seen them before, but not in these pots, the kind of pots where there's just so many of them hanging out. If it does well, it's going to be gorgeous. And I put this other little pot together too. I already, of course, had the spike in there, but I also added this beautiful cone coleus and then some little begonias around it. And this is a creeping Jenny, which hopefully and probably it will just continue to grow and trail out. So, and then this right here is it's a peachy apricot colored annual salvia. So I'm thinking this could grow up to be a great beauty too. I also filled out this little strawberry pot with impatience. I know it doesn't look like much right now, but it's the beginning of something that could be very beautiful. And I put some in this little pot, impatience, in this Hydrangea. I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but it's a pretty little plant. We'll see how it will do there. And this is what our winds did yesterday. It took my little peach tree, 2 big old limbs, or big for my little tree, just blew them off of there.
Come right back over here and take a shot.
Okay, so per my husband's instructions, you probably heard, he said to come over here and take a shot, which does show you exactly what happened to my little tree. And this was just a little straight wind that came. It was windy, but it came especially windy for just a few seconds and came right through here and took this down. I was just thinking how quickly the bloom fades away. Today is May the 2nd, and actually I had my husband help me bring out the house plants. So they are no longer in the house. They're out here in the garden. And I planted a few more things. I just put some little impatience around this little pot. And I fixed this little pot up with impatience and coleus clippings and some ursine, Irsine. I know I may be pronouncing that wrong, but it is a plant that I love. Sometimes it has this color, and then other times it fades to kind of a pale yellow with a green veining through it. But either way, it's pretty. My favorite probably is the deep dark colors. And then I put little impatience around this, and with some coleus in the back part of it. I don't know, this other one may be so tiny you have a hard time seeing it. And they may not work, but I hope they will. We'll see how they will do. Our weather is supposed to be up and down and all over the place, but not get so terribly hot. So we will see. That will help them, but the winds can also destroy them. But hopefully that won't happen either, and they'll get their little root in and build their strength up and just keep going. That's what I'm hoping will happen. And I had some pretty heuchera in this pot, but they didn't come back. I was hoping they might still, and they may still, but they're not looking that good. So I put a little volunteer catmint in there, and I think that will be pretty because it will well, let me just kind of take you across over here. This is Catmint. And so I'm thinking that this one will grow up and fill out this kind of bare spot right here up against the house, the wall of the house. And so hopefully that will be covered with pretty blue blooms, and that will even bring your eye up to which this is a pretty sedum. I've been calling it a sedum. Someone else told me recently that it actually was a spurge. It was Dee Dee. She got some for our church, and they looked so pretty in that pot, but I think they were the same thing as this. So it may possibly be a spurge rather than a sedum. But either way, it comes back, it fills out, it trails over. It's a beautiful plant. It doesn't have bloom except for in June. It does fill up with a beautiful golden yellow bloom that doesn't last very long, but it's always a pretty green. Oh, look, as I was showing you that, I glanced down, and I was showing you this the other day too, which is my hydrangea, but look, it's got little tiny buds coming on. Isn't that wonderful? And this is my little cactus that I brought out from inside. It's called Crown of Thorns. It's such a beauty. I love it so very much. And then all around it here is what I had. I had begonias, beautiful, beautiful begonias, and they all lasted wonderfully up until March, the first part of March. And I know I've got to let it go, but I still keep wishing and hoping. There's still a little life in this one, but not much. So, if it makes it or not, I'm just not doing well with them. I've got to figure out some way to do it, or just totally let it go and do something else instead. I won't be doing them probably this year. If I do, it will only be one until I can figure out how to make it last all winter long and into March, and bring all through March and April and come back out into the garden in May. There is still the tiniest little bit of life clinging in this one, so I'm hoping it will go ahead and take off and go. I would love to be able to keep one of them. I would love to have all of them. Okay, I'm still not letting it go, but I'm trying. I'm really grateful to get this one back outside. It was not doing well in the house. This is its good side, and believe you me, it has some bad sides all the way around it except for this one little area. But hopefully, if it does like it's done before, it will grow back from this one little bit and put up new little wands and just be beautiful. I love this this fox tail fern. It's just so pretty to me. I love the way it just has those wands that come out and just waft in the breeze and just look so delicate and yet strong and beautiful. This is the little hosta that I clipped back, and I got a start for myself and one for my friend Ruby, and hopefully they'll all do well. I'm also going ahead and putting out some of my little window clippings, coleus, and this is a passion vine. I hope they will make it, and I know it will be rough on them, these winds and temperatures they're not used to, that they'll have to get used to or not make it, and I hope they make it, but we'll see. And this little one is my bougainvillea, and it's also looking pretty fragile, but I'm still hoping for it too, of course, but maybe it will. They just have to toughen up and get used to our winds, and then get strong, and then just get beautiful. Oh, and I put this little Hydrangea in here, oh gosh, it wasn't long ago. It may have been, I don't know if it was 3 days ago, but look, it's beginning to bloom. Its blooms are opening, and it's really looking pretty. Also brought out my cactus, which was needing to come out too. or I'm sorry, not cactus, but my aloe vera. Some more plants you're used to seeing in the house, but once they get strengthened up, they're always so glad to be outside. I just do better with outside plants than I do with inside plants. And these are looking good. I'll have to keep an eye on them, and I'll be spraying them with some Amdro as soon as I get an opportunity and time to do that, because I do not want the snails to eat them up from me, or the roly-polies. Those things are just not kind to me or to my little plants. I think I may have put these little dragon trees out here last year, and then they started getting scorched, and I had to take them and put them under our little weeping willow tree. So I may have to do that again, and I hope I don't let them get too scorched before I realize what's going on. I'm hoping that May will be a beautiful month for the garden and for myself. April has been playing April Fool's jokes on me all month long. First I was told I had a heart attack, and then I was told, no, it looks fine. And then I was told, well, but your stress test showed abnormalities. And so now I'm going to have the angioplasts, where they go up a vein in your leg and look at your heart. So that's next on my agenda. So that's making me a little anxious. Just the human side of me, the spiritual side of me. I know that either way God has me in his hand, and if I should die, I will go and live with him and see my daddy and the people that I love in heaven, where we'll wait for the rest of our family to come along, where we'll all be together, and that part will be wonderful. But I want to do so much. I want still to do so much. Math has never been my favorite subject, but I did look up and see that to do the angioplast procedure, it's a small risk, and there's only 1 in 200 people that die from it, or die as a result of it. So I'm thinking, so how many do you think they do a day? 400 or something like that. So 2 people, in my luck, you know. But I also prayed about it. So, you know, I feel, unless the Lord shows me that I shouldn't have it done, I'll probably have it done. I'm still skeptical about whether I need it or not. And this going up and down thing, yes you do, no you don't, yes you have had, no you haven't had. So I don't know what's going on, but I do know that I have had some problems with my chest hurting, and just some pain there. But I also think that it could be just my blood pressure having been up for so long, because once I got it down, I just felt so much better. So I'm thinking that could have been all that the problem was. We'll see. These beautiful little Sweet William blooms. And here are some more. And I have more peonies open. But the ones I took time out from planting my container gardens for is this one right here, because last year it did not last very long at all. I don't know if it even lasted 3 days, but Isn't that gorgeous and so big? These are not as big as they were last year, but they're still big, they're still beautiful. But I know they don't last very long, but I would grow them for one day, and I hope I get more than that to enjoy them, but still, they're beautiful. I just had to show them to you. I didn't want you to miss that. So pretty. And the Widgela blooms are opening up more and more and looking so good. It just makes a person wish they could last longer. Like this beautiful little spirea that was just full and loaded with white blooms, but now they've turned to green, and I need to go ahead and trim this back, or hopefully my husband will do that for me. He's been doing some trimming for me. I told you that he trimmed down this peach tree. The wind had came through and left everything else. Thank goodness it didn't destroy anything else, but it came right here and just burst the limbs right off. So he did this for me, and then he said, look at how it makes a Y. You need to tell them that you need to just come out here from this angle and say Y. Today is May the 3rd, and all of these I was planning on putting in the ground or in a pot yesterday, but the wind and fatigue just got to me, and I really didn't get a whole lot of anything done. I just was spinning my wheels. So I'm going to try again today. These are all from where I took in plants, and so or took outside plants, the plants that were on the inside. My husband and I, he helped me with the heavy ones, and we got those out. And then of course these are where I had my begonias and other things that I just felt had a better chance with a clay pot, and they would have had, but something happened. I know not what, but something happened to them, so I'll have to try again someday if I can just figure out what to do differently. I just watched an episode of Garden Scroll called How to Create a Garden, and I must say I was impressed. I think I did pretty good on that. So anyway, I was going to show you some things that happened last night in our strong winds. So this came down. Luckily it looks like there's still I can get where I can see it, but it looks like the plants are still connected to some soil, and I'll get those picked up here in just a little bit. And it's a cool morning this morning. I thought maybe our cool days were behind us because we've already had temperatures in the 90s, but they didn't stay long, thank goodness. But they'll be back again this summer. And here's the other one. There may have only been two though that got knocked down. So in this little one, I don't know. Oh yeah, there's still some of them are still in the pot, so that's great. So I'll be putting these back up as soon as possible, and I'm going to walk around a bit and see if there's more that got blown away or blown down. And while I'm looking, I see also that my Picasso cannas are coming up. I don't see anything of my delphinium or of my pretty yellow mum, so I may have to put something else in with this, but I'm grateful that these little cannas are beginning to show up. I heard some baby birds chirping in this little nest yesterday. But also I saw a couple of snakes right down here, and I'm sure they were listening to those birds too. They did scamper away or snake away, when I saw them, so that's good. I hope they didn't come back and finish what they had in mind. So as I told you, we had our wind the night before it came. The ones that also brought with it tornadoes in some of our area, not here, thank goodness, but we had a little bit of destruction, very little, so we're grateful for that, and hope that everyone else that did have tornadoes and destruction are doing well. I see that I did have a little ball right here, a little gazing ball thing that came off, and I'm going to put that back up right now. I have pretty much learned just to carry some glue in my pocket for jobs like this when I'm coming to look in the garden. This little one, no surprise, she's down. She's tall, and I don't think I had her glued on real well anyway, so here we go to try again. So we'll see how long this will last this time. We're supposed to be up and down in our winds this whole week, I think. Did you notice that I did put my little owls back up? And because it was already a bit windy yesterday, I actually tied these down. I need to clip some of that off of there too, where it's hanging down. But I tied them down as well as glued them down, so hopefully they'll stay a little bit longer this time. And I also put my bear back up. I'm going to go around to the other side so you can see it better. This poor little tree has had a rough go of it since the time I got it, but I still hope it'll make it. Doesn't need to be a big tree, just a little shade and a little wonderful peaches. Also, when I noticed those snakes yesterday, I also noticed this mold tunnel, so I need to get out here with some mold poison and try to stop those from taking over. They will take things out. And this is my little peony, which they love them. They love the peonies, and I do not want that. I've lost several of them to molds, and I do not want to lose any more. There have been times when the wind has just blown the bloom away, but luckily it left it for us to enjoy another day. These, however, it took them away. They were already beginning to fade to a lighter color, and so they were already weakened, and the winds just blew them off. But they'll be back next year. They're so pretty. That little red bird, the male cardinal, is over there making sure his little female cardinal has something good to eat this morning. I had to get a pitcher of water, or a container of water, because my water pressure went kaput. I don't know, it did that a couple of evenings ago too, but it came back on, so I don't know what's going on, but I know it's not good. But I have my little container back up, and we'll see how long she'll last this time. And I know that this is top heavy, so when I put it up I knew that, but at the time this was the only pot I could find, and then once we got it on there, I actually like it. So I like it for the height that it is, and it's just pretty to me. But we'll see if I'll be able to continue with this pot here, because it does get blown down really often. I did put some gravel at the base of it, and I'm hoping that will make some difference, but we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know if I showed you that I did go ahead and put some of these little creamsicle orange Salvia annual Salvia in here with this pretty African daisy. These for me don't last the whole season, so I wanted something to still fill it out if they should happen to go away, which they probably will, but they're so pretty right now. And this excuse me, this is also a creamsicle. I'm pretty sure it had a little one on it that looked like it was, and then it went away, so it really hasn't bloomed for sure yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So I'm anxious for this one to grow so I can see it in all of its glory. But right now I need to fix some more pots up. I still have plants that I got purchased several weeks ago now. I've got to get those in containers, not to mention all those little cuttings that I had kept all winter long in glasses in the window. So hopefully I'll get some of that done today. Look at this. The roses are beginning to bloom, and I have not sprayed yet, and I know I've got to do that. I've got to do it soon, because as soon as these roses open, I get those bloom bugs, the not potato bugs, but the cucumber beetles, and some other little beetle that's striped. It looks similar to a potato bug, but it has a hard shell on the outside, so I don't want any of those destroying my pretty roses if I can keep it from happening. Did I show you this peony? I know I haven't seasons past, but I'm not sure if I have this season, and it's so beautiful. I did notice, at least I think, that I forgot to tell you when I was telling you how to create a garden. I think I forgot to say anything about containers. You always want containers in your garden, because that just gives you a little extra. Like this one is higher up on one of the little garden stands, and they're just beautiful. You can just put them side by side, short and tall, and or however you want, however it looks the best for you. And I usually also, one of the ways to do it, and there are several ways, but the one that I always think of is the thriller, filler, and spiller, which of course this is the thriller, this beautiful coleus. And then these are fillers. These are just little fillers, these little beautiful soft powder blue color, but they're wonderful fillers. And then of course it also happens to be a spiller, come to think of it. So it's a filler and a spiller. And of course the petunias are spillers, spilling out and just bringing your attention. And I normally do put, and you can use actually just a little garden art piece or decoration for your thriller, and then just fill it up with other things. Like in this pot, these little bears are at least part of the thriller in this pot, but this one also has several little things. When the dianthus no longer are in bloom, we'll have this beautiful this is a oh gosh, what is this now? I can't think of the name of it. It's in the black-eyed Susan family, and it's beautiful. And then this one, of course, is a Russian sage, so it could fill up this whole pot and this whole wall. So we'll see how it will do. Just noticed that my little sage plant bloomed for the first time. It just was a small little cutting, and it's just so pretty. So glad it's in bloom, and it may take up this whole pot too. Actually, the lilies will last all summer. Their bloom won't last all summer. It will be fairly short, but they're more than just a day like the day lilies are. They last quite a while, and then we'll still have this pretty color of the sage in here. And I love this bluish color on it too. And then of course the bloom is pretty also. And there's another example of me using a decorative piece as a Thriller. And this one is too, although she hasn't got her pot filled out yet. That gardener's got to get busy. So I'm going to try again to go get my little plants ready and get them in some pots. Aren't these little dianthus beautiful? Oh, and they smell so pretty. I've told you before, but again, I wish you were here to smell them. They smell so good. And my Welgula, this red one, is beginning to open. But this pink one has been open for quite some time. It's probably starting to lose some of its glorious, beautiful pink bloom, but not all. I just had to go around to the other side of it to show you how beautiful it is. I wish I had this pretty little, this pretty little girl's pot all filled out with bloom to add to it, but I don't. But it's still pretty. And I really love this little green bush, but you can tell from this angle it's dying. I've got to get out here and get a bunch of this trimmed out of it. I think that this pampas grass, when it doesn't take it long to grow up, and when it does, I'm thinking that it's taking the sunlight away from this little plant. I'm not sure that that's its problem, but I'm sure that it has a problem, and I would like to see if I can fix it. As a matter of fact, I would like to get a little sprig off of here and see if I can start it somewhere else, just in case it's never going to do good here again, as long as we have our pampas grass, which I would like to keep both of these if I possibly can. So that's another chore that needs to be done. Probably not today, but it should be. I just need to clone myself and have 6 of me, but then I'd need 12, so you know how it is. Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.